Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another album tier list, the kind of staple series on my channel. Today we're doing Deftones because I put off listening to the discography way longer than I should have. I meant to do it kind of during the pandemic, and I kind of just never got around to it because I'm an idiot. But here we go. We're finally here now that the band has grown in popularity since um, the last album they released, Ohms. Since that and do TikTok and all that shit. Hopefully, some of you may agree with us, some of you might not. It's okay if you don't. It's alright, just post your rankings, don't be a dick about it in the comments. Let's get to ranking these albums, and just to preface, I don't think any of these albums are bad, so if I put an album in C tier, that doesn't mean I don't like it, that's still a passing grade, so calm down. So first up, we have 9 albums. First up is Adrenaline from 95. At least that's what Spotify says. This album is pretty good. I like it quite a bit. It's definitely the most new metal Deftones has ever sounded. You know, this is like actual rap metal. Like this sounds like it could have been on a Rage Against the Machine album, just a lot less political. But there's a lot of decent songs on this. My favorite ones are Bored, 7 Words, and Engine Number 9, but there's also some pretty good ones like Root, Minus Blindfold, 1 Week. Fire Reel is an okay track to end off the album, but Fist is a bonus track, or a hidden track, I guess. I'm not really sure what it's considered as, but it's something on Spotify. So, this album is solid. I think, I think a B tier is going to be good, because I'm going to try, for the most part, to give these albums all a regular order, although it's not going to be exactly, because there's 4 tiers, not 3, since there's 9 records, but you know what? It's whatever. It doesn't really matter now, does it? So next up is Around the Fur, and this album is really, really good. I mean, it starts with My Own Summer, so that's something. That's one of the band's most popular songs. And of course, about halfway through is Be Quiet and Drive. That's another really popular song. Some other favorites I really like are Labia. Around the Fur, the title track is good. Head Up, which features Max Cavalera from Soulfly, which I didn't know that for the longest time. I think he does backup vocals. I don't think he has any main vocal parts, from what I remember. But yeah. I mean, most of the tracks are pretty solid. The only one I don't really care for is Mascara, and MX is an okay closer, although I think the hidden track all the way at the end of this song is much better. I think it's called Damone. I could be wrong. But yeah, I think Around the Fur is a A-tier album. It's good. Not as the S tiers are for my absolute favorites. So there's that. And as far as my absolute favorite Deftones album is White Pony. It's a lot of people's favorites. It's the most popular one, arguably, and for good reason. It's a really great record. Obviously, it starts off strong with Fighty Sarah. Yeah, we'll go with that. Mini Maggot's alright too. This is the version that's on the Spotify, and it's alright. Not a bad song. It's kind of a weird version of Pink Maggot though. Like they made it a lot shorter, and they basically ripped the lyrics from Pink Maggot. I don't know. It's just a weird song back to school. But this album has some of my favorite Deftones songs, like Elite, Digital Bath, Knife Party, Passenger, featuring Maynard James Keenan of Tool, and A Perfect Circle, and Pussifer, and maybe other projects, I don't know. And of course, Change in the House of Flies, which is arguably the most popular Deftones song. And there's some other decent tracks in here, like RX Queen is alright, Korea's fine, Teenagers, okay. Street Carp is kind of eh. But yeah, really, really, really good album. So, S tier. Absolutely, all the way. And now to follow that up, we have the self-titled album from 2003. Now, this album is a lot darker and a lot heavier, and White Pony gets pretty messed up at times. I mean, look up the lyrics to Digital Bath, and you'll see what I mean. But, yeah, this album just has a really dark atmosphere that I I really do like. Starts out really strong. Hexagram, Needles and Pens, and Minerva. Those are the first 3 songs on the album, and coincidentally, those are my 3 favorite songs on the album. I also do like Battle Axe and Bloody Cape a lot. And I do like the more softer, atmospheric vibes of songs like Lucky You and Anniversary of an Uninteresting Event. Though they're not songs that I would really go out of my way to listen to all the time. But yeah, that When Girls Telephone Boys is an interesting song. Same as Moana, the closer. But yeah, a pretty good album. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Don't think it's as good as Around the Fur, but it's about as good as Around the Fur, I'd say. And so now this is probably going to be a controversial pick, maybe not. I don't know. I really don't care, to be honest. My least favorite Deftones album is Saturday Night Wrist from 2006. It just, something about it just doesn't sit the greatest with me. Like, there's good songs on it. There's great songs on it, like Hole in the Earth. I really like Rapture. Cherry Waves is decent. Rats, Rats, Rats is cool. Combat I like. And Mine is an interesting song featuring Serge Tankian from System of a Down. Beware's okay. The song that I'm just going to call the Konami Code because I'm not saying the whole title. You'll probably get what I'm saying. It's okay as well. Xerxes is alright. Yeah, this album is just okay. And then it has Pink Cell Phone on it, which, like, I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people make it out to be because it's actually like pretty cool and like vibey like for the first few minutes, and then when the woman the guest feature on this song when she's talking about all the sex stuff, it just takes me out of it completely because it's like, what the fuck am I listening to? But that's just more of a me thing, and I don't really put it against the song. But yeah, Saturday Night Wrist is just an album I don't really go back to very often. And so, nope, we got another really great album called Diamond Eyes. And this is honestly my second favorite. So we're going to put that right up in the S tier. It's a lot heavier than Saturday Night Wrist. Most of the songs on this album are pretty heavy. I think this is when they started using 8 strings. Because I think the self-titled was when they started using 7s. So, yeah, this would make sense because you've seen the Butchers definitely on an 8-string guitar. But some other really great songs I love are like Beauty School, Rocket Skates, Diamond Eyes, Sex Tape, obviously. And then, of course, some other interesting songs like Prince, Command Control, 976, Evil. This Place's Death is an interesting closer. I don't mind it. And, yeah, that's about all I have to say about Diamond Eyes. It's just a really, really solid album. And I think the same can go for Koi no Yokon, the next album in 2012. The album, kind of like the self-titled, starts off really strongly. I love the first 5 songs on the album, which are Swerve City, Romantic Dreams, the 2 of which kind of like bleed into each other like really perfectly, and I think that's awesome. Leathers, Poltergeist, Entombed, and then I also really like Rosemary, which is towards the end of the album. And some other interesting songs like Graphic Nature, Gauze is okay, Goon Squad is interesting. Yeah, just a really, really solid album. I think Koi no Yokon is deserving of the A tier album. And so next up is Gore from 2016. From what I've seen, that this is basically like the fan base's like least favorite album. And it's definitely down there for me, although I still think this is better than Saturday Night Wrist, just because I like that it's overall a more like vibey and atmospheric album. Like there's not a ton of super heavy songs. Like there are some like Doomed User, which is a big highlight. But yeah, the album's pretty chill for the most part. I like Acid Hologram, Parts, Wires. The title track Gore is pretty cool. It opens decently with Prayers, Triangles, Prayers / Triangles, Prayers and Triangles. I don't know how you say that. But yeah, there's some also other decent songs like LMIRL, Xenon, Pittora Infamante is alright. And it ends okay with Phantom Bride and Rubicon. But again, kind of like with Saturday Night Wrist, just not an album I would really go back to a whole lot. So we're going to put it in C tier. And so that leaves us with Ohms from 2020, and I adored this album when it came out. It was one of my favorite albums of 2020. I still think it's one of my favorite albums from that year, although I think my opinion on it has waned a little bit. This album is still really great, though. It has some of my favorite Deftones songs, like Genesis. Ceremony is really cool. The Spell of Mathematics is so fucking heavy. Same with Error. This Link is Dead, a song that I didn't really care too much about whenever I first listened to the album, but upon the re-listen for this video, I really liked it. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the noisier, heavier songs on the album. And so me being a metal guy, I really love that. And of course the title track, Ohms, that ends out the album is really good. And I'm a little partial to it because they did release it as a single on my birthday, so back in 2020, so I thought that was pretty cool that they did that. And Genesis was nominated for a Grammy, so that's pretty cool if that means anything to you. And yeah, even Urantia, at least I think that's how you say it. That's what it looks like, at least. Pompeii is alright. Radiant City, Headless. I think I've mentioned pretty much every song on this album. It's a really solid album, and I think, yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna put it S tier. From what I've seen, a lot of people didn't really care too much for Ohms, but I really like it. I think it's good. So that's my ranking on all the Deftones albums. You can go down in the comments and respectfully tell me how wrong I am. Share your rankings. Like I said, I don't think any of these albums are bad in particular. They're just some that I like more than others, obviously. And I think that is okay. So, with that said, have a good day or night ever, and we'll see you next one. Peace.